Well, hello friends, how are you today? Hiding my face here a second so you can see my hat. This is the one I made last week. So join me today. It's going to be a fun project, live DIY. So if you're watching the replay, comment the word replay. Love to know who's here, where you're watching from. And we're going to be doing a little fun stenciling on hats today with some brand new hat stencils that have just been launched this week. They launched on Tuesday, which is yesterday, right? It's Wednesday there in the USA. It's Thursday morning here in Australia. I'm Sharon Hankins from the blog I Restore Stuff. Lovely to see you here joining me on Essential Stencils page as one of their Live 5 ambassadors. I'm going to just stain this wood board. It's a plain pine board with a little hanger already that came with it. I'm going to just stain that in Fusion's colour Woodwick, which is a nice, let's say, milk chocolate looking. Oh, that's not focusing properly. There we go. Woodwick is the name of that colour. You can get your Fusion paints using my code I Restore Stuff as well. Then we'll do this side while it's lying down. It's a little bit easier. You could do the edges too if you wanted to, but see how you can still see the nice grain of the wood. Whereas if we were using the paint in its, the paint itself, just as a solid paint, then you wouldn't see all that grain. It would be painting right over it. Looks like I've got a little bit of a scratch in there. I do have the shadow going down because the light's above, and I've got a shadow of my phone that's taking the pictures. So right about here, so I can move that across so you can see. But look at that nice, lovely wood kind of colour. I've got this one that says Free Spirit, and our round, it probably could have been a little bigger to be able to put this one on here in the at the right angle. This is, I think, like a 11-inch round, where it could do with like a 16-inch, I think would be a great size, because those round stencils would fit nicely on that. And I wanted to put that here together with, see, it sort of does a little bit of a curve, which is great. And I want to center that. So I've got this little hanger thing here, which the grain of the wood's kind of going here, and the center, it's kind of at a bit of an angle. It's a little bit tricky. And now I've got my horses, so the horse transfers come in. Now this is the one called Wild Horses. All right, I think that I'll use one of these large scenes that fits a couple of horses. These ones kind of look like wild Brumby type horses. Let's have a look at that. So let's add our transfer now and see where that might fit. So we remove the paper backing, and then we're left this plastic sheet that has the sticky side on the back, and we want to lay it down. I'm going to try and center it as best I can. Like that. So there we go. That's lovely. First I want to get these words on so that we can kind of see where the bucket might fit. What do we decide? Cashmere? Yes, let's use the cashmere. But I might still use one of the brushes that I just had. Let's just use this one. It's got that little bit of picket fence on it. Oh, it's looking pinkish. Maybe because I used it for pink and it's kind of stained it. And so there we go. So the reason I can do the, if you're brand new to stenciling, I'm doing a swirly motion, but to do that you have to have a really dry brush, which is why we offload the brush over here as much as we can. I feel like I had a little bit too much on my brush over here. But if you have too much on your brush, it starts to bleed underneath the stencil, and then you get fuzzy edges, and it ruins the project a little bit. So it's a lot better to just go over with a second coat rather than one that's too thick and risks getting that paint underneath the stencil itself. Well, you have horses. Look at that, cute Free Spirit. Should I add the bucket? Maybe I can add it just here. Probably doesn't need it, but it's got a little bit of space here, so we could add a bucket. We could even add a little bit more grass. Okay, I'm just going to put this randomly, little patch of grass and flowers. All right, there we go. We do have a little gap here. What else have we got? I could add another bale of hay. All right, there's our Free Spirit. But first, while that's drying, let's move over to our hat, our fun hat here. Now this one's a felt hat. You can see it's a felt and it's a chocolate brown colour. It came with this hat belt already stitched onto it. So we're going to leave that there. But the stencil I want to use today for this one, move my pack here, is I think this Amazing Grace. I think it's lovely. And it also has a little cross symbol, which I'm excited about. Now this does have a little curved edge, and I think this one's kind of gone a little wonky. That's all right. We're going to sort of push it flat to do our stenciling today, but let me see if I can get that in the right place. I've got to remember this is the front. Let me turn it around so I can see the front, and then we'll see where our words might go. We've got Amazing Grace. You could also refer to the example here and how they've done the flowers this side, and then Amazing Grace down on the bottom edge here. This one's not fitting as snugly, but that's okay. I think we'll start with our words and then we'll work from there, and then we'll add our cross to the top here. I'm going to use the colour Snowdrop. It's a nice bright white, Fusion's whitest white. Okay, I'm offloading my brush. Let's see how we go. That tape is not sticking real well to the felt. So we're going to hold that down nice and tight with my hands. All right, let's take that off now. We've got a beautiful, amazing grace. That's turned out nice and crisp. And see if it might hold a little bit more paint and might be a bit easier for stenciling on the felt. Dipping it in the paint. This is the colour Snowdrop, a nice bright white, which still, it has very good coverage. A lot of whites tend to, you need several coats. This one you only need 2 to 3. Okay, there's our, now I've only done 1 coat on there, and I think that's still turned out pretty well. We've got some little thicker or darker bits around the edges of the flowers. Yeah, if you look at it on that distance, you can still see it looks pretty amazing. Like so, we could even fit, so it's got this extra little cross. Now, you could fit the little cross nice and subtly right there, I think, if you shifted the florals around, or you could shift it this way and fit the cross right here. Whichever way you'd like to put it, you can make the cross going outwards, I guess, with the words in that direction. Offload it. Let's take that off. Yep, I probably could have gone over a little bit more on some of those, but I might do that later. Could go over with the second coat, but I think it looks great. Oh, Sam says you can put the cross inside the hat. You could too. You could put it, because when people, you know, when you're looking at people, you're sort of wearing it at this angle. You could put the cross somewhere in underneath. Let me see. I don't know if I have room, and it's not really front and center. My letter A is right in the front and center, so I might just pop my cross right on the top there. Okay, so this is a 4-part stencil set because we've got the added little bonus of the cross, which we are going to just pop right on top. Leanne said the hat painting stenciling parties are really popular. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. Shelley, you thinking about a hat party? Yes, but the girls would want mine too, and I'm not sure what the hats would end up looking like, guys. Mary says, it would be fun, but I wouldn't want to charge my friends, too expensive to pay for it all. Yeah, you could just ask them if they're interested in purchasing a hat. I mean, the hats are fairly cheap, and I'm sure that everyone would be happy to, if they wanted to, you know, spend out time together and paint the hats. They could have the option to do that or not to do that, or they could just come and hang out with the rest of you who want to do the hats. Oh, now this is tricky. We've got to have a nice stable, something underneath would be good. I should have probably put my stack of hats together, and then it would have been a bit easier to do this. But, whoops, I've just made it buckle underneath. So you could put a little hat form or something underneath to hold that steady. Just going to reach under here, pop that back up. And we've got a cute little cross done in the middle of the top. There we go, lift that up. And how cute is that? Amazing grace with a cute little cross. Thanks again, guys. Bye.